Good Sunday morning, I'm Hugh Keaton. It's time for Back to School, and leading up to the new school year, I talked with the head of the state's Department of Education about the issues impacting the classroom. State Superintendent of Education Dr. Lance Evans, going into your second year on the job, joining us here.
Sure.
And you're on the coast this week as part of the State Superintendent's Conference going on. What were some of the topics brought up this week?
Yeah, so this week, well, number one, thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity to come and spend some time with you. But MASS it's the State Superintendent's Conference. It happens every year. There's usually around 1,300 people that are there. Some of the focus topics from the department, because we have some sessions we do there as well, focus on, obviously, assessment accountability is always one. Any type of updates that we're doing, statewide initiatives. A lot of stuff with AI is out there, several topics related back to, obviously, literacy and math.
So right now there's a lot of good things happening with education in Mississippi. We're seeing these good rankings continue to come out. Last month we learned the state's highest education ranking ever, 16th in the nation. About a decade ago that was 48th. Huge gains there. Record number of third graders in the state passed the reading assessment this year. What's happening? How is it all happening?
You know, I think it's just a concerted effort of all the great teachers that we have, and students recognizing what we need to do. You know, back when the Literacy-Based Promotion Act, a lot of this started, I tell people in 2013 when Mississippi got very serious about literacy. And when like I said, the Literacy-Based Promotion Act was passed, we put the third grade reading gate in. It was very difficult at that point in time because there was a change. And of course, we've always been a high stakes assessment state. But just putting that intense focus there, and I would tell you that at the department at MDE, making sure that we are streamlining the services that the districts need. It's very important to myself that we ask them what they need. We don't tell them necessarily what they need, other than when we're putting new initiatives out. So I think it's just that concerted effort, and just in Mississippi, we'll always win. We're those kind of people. So.
And when you have that kind of success in education, what does that do to keep students in state and then turn around and hold jobs in the state and boost the economy in the long term?
Yeah, it definitely helps as far as the recruitment of business and industry here. And that's one of the things I've seen for sure during Governor Reed's during his time. I know you've seen just here on the coast, the number of large-scale business and industries that have moved to Mississippi in the last 3 to 4 years. And that has really pushed public education to create that more educated workforce, high skill, high demand, high wage jobs. That success definitely helps in that recruitment of business and industry, as well as forcing public education to be more agile and,
right.
and how you educate a student.
And raise the stakes also.
Yes.
Here on the coast, that success certainly translate many years. Most of our school districts here on the coast receive an A rating. What is maybe an example of being done here on the coast that could be taken back to other parts of the state?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that you will find on the coast that I've always seen, and we have across the entire state, but they're very, very proud of their schools, their school districts here, all those superintendents, teachers. They also are very organized. I mean, when you talk to the superintendents on the coast, they've got it together. They all are driving pushing forward in that same direction. And I would say they're very competitive with one another, which is what you see across the entire state, and have great teachers, great students.
What does the teacher shortage look like right now in the state? The last numbers I saw was about down 3,000 vacancies. Is it still in the same area, and what can be done to fill that need?
It is, and in some districts they fill it worse than others, depends on where you are across the state. And one of the things that we're doing, actually, we got I think it was around $2.3 million appropriation from the legislature this past session to create a synchronous school. So it's not necessarily a individual school, but we have a platform that we're putting into place where we can deliver synchronous learning to schools that do not have certified teachers. Now they would obviously they're still enrolled in their school, still enrolled in their district. It's not a separate MDE school. But we're doing that with a partnership with Mississippi Public Broadcasting. So it's two state agencies working together to address this issue, and we have the potential to reach around 6,000 students.
Yeah, that is interesting. That's kind of a wave of the future, I guess, where you could put a student in a classroom and they can learn from a teacher in some other place.
It's not necessarily the best way, but right now it's a way for us to get a certified teacher in front of them.
Yeah, and get ahead. Okay. How about teacher pay raise? I spoke with Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann. He says it's going to be a priority for him in the next legislative session. There was a teacher pay raise a few years ago, but now the state's fallen back to the bottom of the list again in that category. What are you telling your teachers about the possibility of a pay raise?
Yeah, I definitely think it'll happen. Every lawmaker I've spoken with, you're talking about the Lieutenant Governor Hosemann, spoke with him several times. He's also a very kind man and always very supportive of public education. I appreciate that. He has spoke to that point. I know that's one of his platforms. Also, you see the speaker. That's also on his agenda. So we definitely, I'm anticipating it happening. It needs to happen.
Right.
Because, you know, with the way the world is, things are much more expensive now than they were.
Sure.
2, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Sure. Well, how about budget cuts? At the federal level, this has been an ongoing conversation. Right now, what does it look like for the state as far as losing funds?
Yeah, I wish I had a real good answer.
Yeah.
The problem is the guidance we get, that's like I was telling in a meeting yesterday, the superintendents, they send emails and telling us, hey, we're suspending these funds, but there is no, hey, you should fix it using A, B, or C. It's up to us to work this out. And you know, recently we did get late liquidation access back for those ESSER dollars, which was about $130 million in our state. So we're pushing our people to make sure and get any payments they had covered, and get any work they had ongoing done. Now, when you look at other potential budget cuts, you know, ESSER was obviously probably referred to as COVID dollars, if you will, going back to those days.
And you anticipated that going away at some point?
We knew that it would in 26. But now, you know, your traditional, your Title 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're seeing some issues there. There's about $68 million worth of federal funds that have been, I believe the word USDE is using is they're impounding those dollars to go through some other auditing that they're doing with it. We desperately need that money to be released to the department so we can in turn obviously release it to the districts.
Right.
That's a substantial amount of money.
Yeah, well, we continue to hear about the possibility of losing money. How difficult of a position is the state in if it ends up widespread loss of dollars? Well,
you know, the thing is if we are cut from a federal standpoint, we still have to provide those services to the students. So we have to find ways to be creative to cover that. Now, I do want to be optimistic and think that we're not going to get to that point, but the world is very different now than it was previously. So I am worried about it.
Yeah, okay. So it's a wait and see approach there. And you brought my attention to AI and how that's being used in the classrooms. You talked about it in the conference this week. This real quick, where does it stand as far as the best practice for teachers and students using AI?
Well, right now that's a tough question to answer. I will tell you, most of the AI training I have seen has been focused on how it makes your individual life better, you more efficient. So we've created a task force at MDE in which what our focus is, working with John Cramen, our CIO, our focus is how does it impact instruction in the classroom, because that's where we have to be providing the support. So right now, everybody's still trying to figure out the best approach. You know, states are working on guidance documents, and we're in the process of trying to.
That's not just
support.
Education. That's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it's everywhere.
Dr. Lance Evans, the Superintendent of Schools in the state of Mississippi, thanks so much for stopping by.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you.